I just hit it. Oops.
That's all right.
Get that coffee quick, boyo. You're missing the high pursuit chase. Alright, we are back here with real news, whatever the fuck we're calling this now, because it's beyond quarantine now. It's just anarchy. We're gonna watch some of the shit going down right now, because it's getting pretty crazy. We're seeing a fucking high pursuit chase. Those keep seeming to happen here. We were watching one last night. We have a fucking, looks like a white Bronco again. Oh my god, this guy's moving. I'm gonna get Nick in here because I know he wants to join.
That's some craziness.
Yeah, Jesus. How have you been, Phil?
Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I've just been kind of looking at stuff all over the place and seeing how crazy it got, and like with Trump's speech, Trump.
Yo, let's review that. What'd you think of Trump's speech?
Yeah. It was great. It was great. Like it seems like every time he gets on a stage, he tends to do great. I mean, because people were starting to get antsy last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were looking for him to say something.
Whoops.
But yeah, they were like you started hearing it from all these other even conservative pundits, like, where's Trump? What's he doing?
Yeah.
He's kind of hiding. He's hiding in the bunker or whatever, and it's like, well, look, he's probably got a lot of stuff that he's working behind. That's working behind the scenes, and he's got his own. You got to coordinate this sort of thing. It's not like, he's dealing with stuff that you really haven't dealt with. I mean, you had Baltimore, like with the Baltimore riots or whatever, but like we haven't dealt with anything of this scale before, not in a long time.
Yeah, and I think Scott Adams said best when he said Trump probably, by doing the Joe Biden method of staying hidden for a bit was actually probably good for him, because he was in a situation, no matter what he says in this particular case, and yes, this can be said for a lot of things, but in this case, no matter what he says, they're going to really screw with it. They're going to really twist it. And you saw today, they're calling him Dictator Trump on Twitter. That's trending. I thought the speech was great. I thought the better part was what came after. He walked from the White House. I mean, this is just beautiful imagery, powerful. He walks from the White House, goes in front of the St. John's Church that was burning last night, holds a Bible in front of it. It was perfect visual.
Are we live?
Peace. Yeah, we are live. Peace, security, and faith, all in one beautiful image. When you have Joe Biden taking selfies with Antifa and kneeling with them, and his campaign staff donating something. Dude, check out the chase. This guy's going real fast now. He's going through traffic.
Yeah,
We got a literal white Bronco.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm looking at the New York City where there's a cop. I guess there was a cop that was down.
Intersection, and the suspect slows down.
Oh,
He's now.
Oh yeah, he's going.
We don't want to get any more copyright strikes.
We already have one in our pocket.
Yeah, you need to go and try to get that shit taken off.
Yeah, I need to look into that. Oh man.
Yeah.
See, look at this guy fucking go. He's going downtown.
Yeah, that's.
Huntington.
Look, we got it. It's like these cities are just I think they're just really sabotaging their own cities. Like I don't.
Oh, they're going out.
Oh shit, they're running.
Oh, the Chinese fire drill.
Yeah, it's a bad time to pull one of those guys.
Like, why are they just get out in the middle of the fucking road? Like, at least go somewhere that's a little bit like better to go and run around if you're gonna be doing that shit.
Well, did you see they were doing some intimidation tactics with the protesters in DC, where they were
breaking someone's house? Dude, I see some fucker like running around with cops and shit. He's trying to go into my house, dude. That's that's a good idea. Like, good fucking way to get shot.
Oh, they found him. They found him. Are they trying to jack another car? Oh no, he's turning around.
Dude, I'm looking at this. Yeah, it's New York. Here we have another day of just absolute,
Oh, here come the cops.
chaos.
Yeah, dude, it looks like New York was actually worse today than it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Milo
look.
posted on his
I mean, this does not look good. It doesn't look good for. But look, I'm saying with all of these cities going crazy, and these are Democrat-run cities. It's looking good for Trump. Look, I mean, good for Trump. Look, because I'm telling you, this gives Trump the opportunity to come in there and clean shop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what's going to happen next. Like, they clearly today or tonight, if tonight in New York, if it ends up being bad, I think the next day you're probably going to see a whole bunch of Trump's guys coming in and cleaning up shop.
Yeah,
This could
and
be bad. This could be bad. Could
Wha-
be bad for Bill de Blasio.
how about what happened in Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah. Which thing that happened in Pittsburgh?
Our fucking Antifa boy
Yeah.
got sent to the principal's office.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure George Soros, Uncle Soros, is gonna bail him out.
Dude, I'm
Well-
not making this up. In New York, where the Open Society, is that what it's called? His thing, Open Society.
Foundation or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Open. Yeah, Society
He's-
Foundation. It is one of the only buildings in New York City that has no plywood up, no barricades, and it's completely untouched.
Oh,
Coincidence?
yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's probably where they're going to get fucking paid.
Yeah. I mean, look, and it's probably well protected too, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Uncle Georgie keeps his
Yeah,
place
by the way,
protected.
Speaking of protection,
Mm.
can we just say that the Second Amendment debate is fucking over now?
It's over. Yep, it's over.
Fucking over. Like, nobody's like, dude. The only places the places that they don't fuck with are the ones with with the kind of protection that only the finest Second Amendment provides. Like, I just, yeah, I don't know. Like, if police can't protect you, which of course, I mean, look, like, the Second Amendment is there for you to protect yourself, and it's like, oh well, you have the police, and these liberals are like, oh, these police are there to protect you, and then you have the but even the fastest response times for police are looking at like you're looking at like 5 minutes, like 5-6 minutes.
That's if you're really lucky.
If you're lucky, I'm saying that's like the fastest.
Yeah.
Because you got to find, you're calling 911 with dispatch, and they got to get a hold of the nearest cop they can find to get to the scene. And by then, shit, a lot can happen in 5 minutes. And you gotta learn how to protect yourself.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, this is those fucking 30 round magazines. You start having a fucking riot at your house, man. You're not going to have like a 10 round California compliant, non-detachable magazine for that shit.
Yeah, this is why they're not, like, the Antifa's targeting these big liberal cities, in part because they're easy targets. They have some of the strictest gun control laws in the country. Like, look at New York, right? It's damn near fucking impossible to own a gun in New York City. And look, again, easy target. That's an easy target. They're going to come in, they're going to take whatever they want, and they know that there's going to be zero consequence.
Because there's nobody there. Like, there's literally nobody there, and nobody with guns.
No. I would say, yeah. I mean, look, come in. I bet you tomorrow. I'm saying if this happens, right? If this continues to happen in New York, Trump sends a whole bunch of armed motherfuckers up there to New York, and shit's gonna end. Shit's gonna end real quick.
No, I think you should just let it fucking let play out in New York, because that's a fucking.
Well, no, because for Trump, no, because he said that now that he has his press conference, he said in his words, if these Democrats don't handle their shop, I'm going to come up there and do it for them, right?
Well, see, if I was Trump, I would just let them fucking destroy these Democrats.
Well, I mean, it looks good for him. Like if he comes up there and handles the shop, yeah, it's going to look really good for him, and they're going to be like, well, maybe he is the guy we need, right? Because right now, New York is in pandemonium. Like this is, like they're not safe up there. Like New York, they're not safe. People at the very foundation want to be safe.
Yep.
At the they'll give whatever they have to be safe.
Hierarchy of needs.
And right, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you're not safe, nothing else really matters at that point. So yeah, nobody's safe. People are looting. People are, destroying shit up there. No, you come up there with 101st and see how it fucking pans out.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. That's why I think he's playing this smart, is because the credibility damage is done on the Democrats right now. I mean, the riots have already happened. The visual imagery is out there. It's already devastated their brand, like almost beyond repair, for at least quite a while now. And he comes in, swoops in, and is kind of like the saving grace, cleans up these cities and brings peace. I mean, not only is that just great because of the simple fact of bringing peace, but it totally goes against what they've been saying of, oh, Trump is violent, Trump's this awful evil guy that's going to start violence everywhere. He completely does the opposite of what they expect.
I'm looking at Washington D.C. Some film of Washington D.C. Holy fuck, there is a whole lot of cops.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they are not playing games today, son.
Dude, look at that. They're, like I said, looking for on Twitter. There's footage of these choppers going down real low, and and it's blowing on the protesters, and there's lots of noise. They're trying to intimidate them. It's a totally different beast tonight, and that's why I initially wasn't gonna stream, because I thought, there's probably not gonna be a lot of action tonight, but there's a sort of a different kind of action happening.
Yeah.
And shout out to Jack Posobiec. He's been doing fantastic coverage of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I've always followed him, but I've never followed him more than I have recently because of his coverage.
We've been telling. I told you he's a fantastic reporter.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. By the way, did you see what our fearless leader of Twitter,
oh boy, Jack,
decided he wanted to fucking tweet? He basically said, police policy reform now. That was his tweet. Right?
That's the most shallow tweet
Jack
ever.
Dorsey. Yeah. So, look, how are you gonna what's police reform? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The only police policy reform I'd want is less restriction and more. Let's and higher crimes for the crimes, higher penalties for the crimes that are being committed.
Yeah.
Like higher penalties for violent crimes.
All right, I have to go and help my coworker with something.
All right.
Okay.
I'll be back on.
All right.
Okay. Have fun. Yeah. Yeah. See, I actually want to talk about that because there's been, it's not just Jack. There's been a lot of virtue signaling on Twitter today. Amazon released a statement. Like every company felt like they had to release some sort of statement. And I think it's a whole marketing bullshit thing, but it's really stupid. Like they're all going, oh, this systematic racism so bad. Police brutality is so bad. Oh my god. And you had PlayStation. Yeah, you can go on as I find this tweet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this virtual signal is basically like a cry for help. Please don't destroy our stuff.
Yeah, literally.
Like, no,
Nike tried that, and look what happened.
You think these anarchists give a shit about your stuff? According to these well, I mean, as far as these anarchists go, you're probably you're the enemy.
Yeah, you're
like,
capitalism.
You're capitalism. Like they want to destroy you. Like it baffles me. It baffles me how they think this whole thing is going to work. I mean, well, I don't know, because like, you know, there was Sony put out something.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this bullshit because this one was so freaking stupid. This one took the cake. They have two statements. The first one says, "We denounce systematic racism and violence against the black community. We will continue to work towards a future marked by empathy and inclusion and stand with our black creators, players, employees, families, and friends. Hashtag Black Lives Matter." Oh,
it's such bullshit. It's bullshit. It's not. There's no systemic racism. There's bad cops. Of course, there's bad cops. Nobody, like, look, nobody's going to argue that George Floyd was murdered. Nobody's going to argue that, you know, that what that cop did was fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to argue that. So they're not going to argue that this cop should be in jail. They're not going to argue that these other 3 cops should probably end up in jail. I'm hoping that, you know, these other 3 are going to jail, but look, you know how democratic cities go. They can't fucking operate anything to save their lives. One can hope. We'll see. But you're not going to get an argument out of me that these cops shouldn't be paying for what they for this fucked up death, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like you're transforming it into some sort of systemic racism. That's not the case. And even if it was, it's like, well, again, these are democratic cities. You've elected these Democrats that have spent decades stripping you of your civil liberties with all of this legislation, setting up this system to make it damn near impossible to get rid of these bad cops. What the fuck did you expect, right?
Yeah, well, they always see race in everything, and this is the worst, even worse statement from PlayStation, and the worst overall of any statement. They said, I just can't believe it's got fucking almost 500,000 likes. We have decided to postpone the PlayStation 5 event scheduled for June 4th. And this last paragraph just, oh my god, it's just triggers me. While we understand gamers worldwide are excited to see PS5 games, we do not feel that right now is a time for celebration, and for now, we want to stand back and allow more important voices to be heard.
Oh, gamers rise up.
Dude, gamers rise the fuck up. I mean,
oh yeah.
Dude, they probably don't want their shit to get looted.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yo, gamers are gonna loot your shit now because this is some bullshit. I mean, the only thing I could think of from a marketing standpoint is that they think they thought, shit, okay, the news coverage is dominated by these riots. We're not going to break through. We're not going to get any press from this. So let's delay the event. And then they were like, wait, we could delay the event, get more press, and virtue signal at the same time. Fuck it, let's do it. And
well, I think they are concerned with having like backlash. Like it's probably a PR thing, you know. They don't want to backlash, and you don't care about black people.
Yeah,
they don't want to deal with that. I mean, is it political? Is it? I don't know if I'd say it's virtue signaling, but they're trying not to cause a fucking fracas.
Yeah, and I think it's also, like I said, it could have been multiple things like that, and they're looking for an excuse to move their event. But yeah, I think it's that too. But look, it didn't work for Nike. Nike was like, oh, we asked this one time, just don't do it. Don't beat up black people. Don't be a racist police officer. And then what the fuck happened? Their stores got looted and all their Nikes were stolen. Yep. Doesn't do shit, you idiots. But again, is that their intent? Maybe.
Well, I think the leaders just wanted the fucking Nikes. Let's be real here.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it happened. And Amazon put out a statement because I mean, again, everybody's got to be progressive today. Everybody's got to put out a statement. Oh, we gotta do statements, guys. Oh, they're so important. And they said the inequitable and brutal treatment of black people in our country must stop. Together, we stand in solidarity with the black community, our employees, customers, and partners. Oh, except if you're an Amazon worker in a factory, in the fight against systematic racism and injustice. Oh my God, Amazon cares. Oh my God, guys.
Dude, they don't give a fuck. They don't care about anyone.
They released a statement on Twitter and they got thousands of likes. Of course they care.
God. Yeah, one of the people that I followed, that I follow on Twitter. Well, did follow keyword. There was talking about. He was talking about how, I guess, officers tear gassed some friends of his. Apparently, a couple of I guess these guys slashed a couple of cop tires, and they ended up getting tear gassed. And he decided to say it was a disgrace. I hope it doesn't turn violent. Which, I replied, if you slash cop tires, tear gas should be your best case scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, look, if they're there to protect and serve, right? You may like them, you may dislike them. Their job is to protect and serve, right? And they're out there, not only are they protecting the protesters, they're protecting, just the, businesses or whatever. They're trying to keep this thing at bay. And and you slash cop tires, which you
disable the
you're
cops,
making the
basically.
place, yeah, you're disable, you're making the place less safe. All right, you're shortening, you're prolonging the reaction time of some of these people that it's going to take to serve and protect, and therefore I have no love for you. I'm like, look, you should be thankful that getting tear gassed is all you're going to get. You deserve to get your ass kicked. You go start slashing tires, and it's costing taxpayer money, right? I just like, there's no good that comes from slashing cops' tires. We're destroying cars, by the way, too.
Yeah.
A lot of that shit around. So yeah, I unfollowed the fucker. I kind of liked him too.
Was it somebody you knew personally, or was it some?
No,
okay.
It's somebody that's, I think it's a YouTuber, but whatever.
So that's the thing too. This honestly, this is kind of shown. If we want to look at, I don't want to call this a good angle. Maybe some people see it that way, but if there's some truth coming out of this, maybe it's that this is showing people's real colors. When things get emotional, when things get tense, when people are getting really high on emotions, you're really seeing people's true colors. You're seeing what people really believe deep down, or what they're capable of believing.
The guy liked a Hillary Clinton tweet too, so that
There
probably
you
steered
go.
the direction even further. Like, oh, don't like you at all.
Man, I can't believe you
No,
put
yeah,
up with him
like
so long.
yeah. By the way, Hillary Clinton had a wonderful fucking tweet.
Oh God, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, she was talking. Yeah, she was talking about how, like Donald Trump gassed innocent people just to create a photo op.
What? Oh yeah. I've heard about this. Yeah. She used
Now, like literally this time.
What?
Is Trump literally Hitler? Like literally this time?
Yeah, he's gassing Antifa.
Here it is. The president of the United States is calling for violence against American citizens. This is so wrong. We need to be honest. We need honest reckoning and reconciliation. Yeah.
Did you see the other one where she says, "Tonight the president of the United States used the American military to shoot peaceful protesters with rubber bullets and tear gas them." And then she does another paragraph for a photo op. Oh my God, so evil. "This is a horrifying use of presidential power against our own citizens and has no place anywhere, let alone in America. Vote." See, they're using this for the fucking elections. And she, of all people, is lecturing us on power, abuses of power.
Photo ops.
Yeah, photo ops. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Did you see her profile picture?
Yeah.
It's like Black Lives Matter.
It's a fucking face mask that says "vote" on it.
Just awful. Just fucking awful. And
yeah, these protesters are so peaceful. They're just burning down buildings to how the fuck is that peaceful?
No. If you're look, if he's walking, he's gonna he's the president, he's the leader of the fucking free world, okay? If he's walking somewhere, he's gonna have security up the ass. That's what every president, his security team is the most he is the most secure man in the world, right? So if he wants to walk somewhere and there's people in front of him that are going to try to keep him out, guess what? They're getting moved.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because if you're going against the president of the United States, that's kind of, I mean, really, that's a violent act in itself, because you're like, you're standing in front. If you stand in front of the president, you're getting in the way of his business, whatever business he chooses to have. That's it. And it's like, oh, he's a dictator. No, he crossed the street to go to a church to pay his respects for this church that has been around since forever.
Yeah.
And a church that these violent thugs, and they are thugs, burned. So
it's like, what do you expect?
It's time for strength now. And this is another reason why I love that speech that he did today. It's time for strength now. All of this diplomacy and all that crazy shit, it's fucking over. Okay, we need strength. We need it now. He provided strength, and yeah, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. This shit's gonna end. Like these people can enjoy their looting and their fucking vandalism now, because it's coming to an end. Enjoy today, folks.
Well, it's like when I went to CPAC, and even when the vice president spoke, they shut down roads for, it must have been a mile. I mean, it was blocks. So when they complain about this shit, it's like, I mean, this is presidential protocol, Secret Service presidential protocol for his safety.
Here's the thing, okay, and then of course, these states, President Trump is 100% correct. The press secretary, 100% correct. These states need to do more, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the tools to do it. They have the tools to do it. These are full states with full police forces and full National Guard. They have all these options at their fucking disposal. They can do shit without federal assistance. They have a lot of resources, and they're just choosing not to use them. Like, these people are choosing not to use them. Maybe they think they can handle it. Maybe they're sandbagging their own, state for, maybe to get political points. I don't know what the fuck it is, but they're right. They have the resources. They don't use them. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly at this point, the only thing that makes sense as to why they're acting this way, it's either incompetency or they're doing it because they think it can hurt Trump. And I think we know which way we lean.
No, I think. I mean, it could be both.
I mean, it could be both.
Could be both. Could be they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then, like, what? And in all reality, sandbagging your own state to get political points against Trump. I mean, that's pretty retarded.
Yeah.
Like, look how many people you got. These are your people. These are the people that voted you in, right?
And then the ones that can vote you out.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense at all. But here we are. And they're all happening in Democrat strongholds. Like I said, these are just, they don't care. Like, I don't think these people care at all.
Yo, I got a feed from Baltimore. It's looking, let's see, is it going to be bad there? Maybe not, but I'm trying to find more DC streams. Because apparently the hotbeds right tonight are New York City, DC, and a little bit of California. But you notice again, National Guard came down and boom, did shit stop.
Yeah.
There were in Philly. Okay, I don't know the full context of this, so I'm gonna word this carefully. But in Philly, because of last night and the night before, and look, this is inevitable. Every force has a counterforce. After you had Antifa, Black Lives Matter destroy Philly, you now have local people forming a militia, and it's mostly white from what I could see, and they're defending the shops down there. And this is what I'm afraid of happening, is when these forces clash, it's going to be ugly. People thought Charlottesville got ugly. This shit is way ugly already.
Well, they need to someone needs to defend the shops. You just
exactly.
Yeah.
Police aren't going to do it. Is the Second Amendment? That's exactly what it stands for.
This is what it's for.
It's massive people. It's all the same. You have the right to defend yourself and your property, your life. Fucking, a lot of people put their whole lives into these businesses.
Yeah.
I'd be like if someone just went to your house and burned it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And all these people are like, oh, well, you have insurance for that. Well, buddy, your fucking insurance was already used for this coronavirus.
You think these insurance companies are going to insure your business after it was burnt to the fucking ground?
Yeah,
if it is, it's going to be really fucking expensive.
Yeah, it's going to go way the fuck up. Like these people who are doing this, a lot of them, they don't understand that stuff, or maybe they don't care to understand. I mean, a lot of these Antifa people too.
There was a Canadian rapper fucking named Tory Lanez that said some shit like that. Like, oh, these people act like they don't have insurance or whatever. It's like, you fucking retard. He's like, he's this Canadian rapper that lives in the United States now. Yeah, like, he's gonna talk about fucking African American rights. Like, yo, motherfucker, you're from Canada, right?
Well, I know my girlfriend was telling me her dad just got expectedly a bunch of insurance claims in Philly because of the looting and the riots. And it's, who knows if the insurance is even going to cover some of this shit. I mean, I don't know how insurance works exactly, but it's...
Oh, yeah. even if they do cover it, they might run out of fucking money because of
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's not. I mean, I look at going back to the Pittsburgh story. The 20-year-old kid in Pittsburgh that like vandalized or whatever. Now he's caught. His life's probably over. There's a good chance his life is probably over, unless because so he did turn himself. He turned himself in, not really, but yeah, I guess he volunteered to turn himself in. Unless he has like information that might lead to other arrests or something like that, he's probably his life's probably over.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna fuck.
Yeah, the
Well,
lefties could bail him out.
They'll bail him out, but he's still going to have to go to court. He's still going to have to be charged.
I know fucking Pittsburgh. The Democrats run that city. They're gonna get. It's gonna be like in State College when they had the people ripping up the Trump sign.
That's true.
He's gonna get a slap on the wrist, and he's gonna be let the fuck right back out. He might get a fine, but chances are, he's probably not gonna fucking pay it himself. He might have community service. Maybe he'll go to jail for a few days. That's probably what's gonna be.
I will say this: if he goes, looking at him, right? If he goes to jail, no, I don't think that's because you're looking at like the charges that are coming his way. Wow. He's looking at some. He may even if it's only a year, his life is fucking over. He's done, and he looks like one of those little fragile fucking tiny little boys too.
Yeah.
Just wait until he gets up. Just wait until he goes upstate. It's not gonna be good. Not gonna be good, homie.
Yeah, I doubt this guy's gonna really be doing.
This little kid, he's gonna be somebody's bitch. He's definitely gonna be somebody's meat.
I doubt that's like. I doubt he's gonna even serve a day in jail. Like just from seeing what's happened before with Antifa. Like look what happened with that James Alsop guy. The dudes who hit him on the head. You know, they never even. I don't think those people served a day in fucking jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like say what you will about the guy, but at that time it was just some dude who went to a Trump event with the MAGA hat on.
Okay, so even if it does, I don't know. I think even if he does, he's gonna be hit with some. He's gonna be hit with a bill. They're gonna chuck a bill at him.
Yeah, right? And you've seen those like fucking people out there, these celebrities, and that's just the ones who are exclaiming it, putting millions of dollars to the legal defense of these protesters.
Yeah, but that's legal defense.
Society Foundation, they're going to be throwing money at these people's legal defenses because they pay these people to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is how it goes. I mean, I hope that fucker rots, but I know, I've seen this happen too many times before, and they don't even fucking get they never get justice. They go in there, they do some little time, they come back out, and they're viewed as a hero. Maybe he'll work for a labor union. Or maybe he'll become a professor at a university. That's what happens with these fucks.
I hate to say it, but I think you're right, Alex. Because look at, like he's saying, like they're already paying for these people. These are their foot soldiers. The deep democratic state still needs them. They probably have way more plans for them after this. And I mean, they could always get other ones too. It's a cyclical cycle, but Gavin was talking about this on the video today as to how, like one of the things we're seeing too, like to show you how much money these people have. That's what I'm trying to get here. And I don't know how true this is, but take it for what you will. People started wondering over the past few nights. You'd see Antifa and Black Lives Matter start chucking bricks at windows and buildings. Like, where are they getting these bricks? And people started looking around. Today, they found in a bunch of cities, right before the rioting started tonight, there were literal packages of bricks appearing in the city on the fucking streets. I mean, this is insane. And if you don't even think for just a second that this thing could be engineered, you are missing everything here. You are not listening to everything you should be. You're just listening to the mainstream media bullshit. You need to be exposing yourself to so much more, because and I'm just finding this on Twitter. It's not even getting banned yet on Twitter. This shit's out there. And this is the most engineered, like, mass anarchy I've ever seen. There's a lot of things we've speculated could be engineered, or maybe there was some Soros money here and there. And even we said that about Black Lives Matter. Many conservatives would say it like, oh, it's probably Soros funded, but this is like, you don't really have the most definitive proof in the world. You probably have some proof, but this, you just look at it, it is unbelievably engineered. I mean, it's on another level.
But they could, I think it could take on. I mean, but this is another thing that they. This is another good reason that they Trump labeled Antifa as a terrorist organization, because they can go after.
That's true.
Now they can get super aggressive with their investigating.
That is the one thing I could counter Alex's argument with, is that now that this is at a federal level with the Trump administration, the game's changed. Now we'll see how it plays out, because I don't know all the legality, so I'm not gonna act like I know how it's gonna play out.
Even if they can't charge it, like say, even if they can't charge, if they go to the kid and they're like, I think they'll try to throw this kid some sort of a plea deal. They'll probably be like, look, if you cooperate, you give us some names, it'll be light. And that's usually how they'll probably do it. And then I think, because they're labeled a terrorist organization, they can go after them hard on the investigative circle.
Was that guy actually an Antifa, though, to our knowledge?
Yeah. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
If it is, and
if he is, he's fucked. Every piece of anything he owns is getting fucking prodded.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I agree, but the thing with Antifa is it's not one specific organization. Like,
it is broad.
It doesn't even that picture he's wearing a hood with a huge an A on the hood or whatever.
That's anarchist. That's not necessarily Antifa.
Hey.
I mean, if a liberal judge sees that, and they have a decent lawyer, and with the money that's going their way, I think they'll be able to get some really good lawyers. It's gonna, and I mean, I'll restate it. Like, I wish that this wasn't the case, but I know that that's gonna be thrown out. There's nothing that says he's a part of, like, at least from what I've seen, that he's a part of a organized, like, you can just throw out the fucking Antifa thing unless he's in a group specifically saying Antifa.
If that's the case, and this gets bad enough, it's coming next, right?
Fucking vigilantes.
No, it'll now, because you're not gonna completely overthrow this government. It'll end up going there will be shoot to kill orders. It will happen if you press it bad enough. It can go there.
But
shoot to kill orders, meaning if you're I don't even like if I could lose, which would be terrible. Like, I could loosely affiliate you with a fucking terrorist organization, and then boom, pow, shoot to kill, done. They might not even like there you go. I'll take the courtroom right out of the gate. I'll take the courtroom right out of the picture.
Well, I think what would actually happen is, when I mean vigilantes, I mean when these Antifa guys get off, a bunch of right-wing militias kind of get together and they find this guy and just beat the shit out of him and give him what he deserves in their eyes, the justice in their eyes that he didn't get. I think that's what would more or less happen. People taking justice into their own hands. Because you're already seeing these militias form a little bit in cities. Mm-hmm. And see, this is where, look, we went from like to say 2017 was like the peak of Antifa Proud Boys clashes, and then it kind of simmered down. Now it could come back with a vengeance with this. I mean, obviously it is right now, and there are no Proud Boys really out in these things, but it could really come back with a vengeance after this.
Yeah, like honestly, this is the time that we need groups like the Proud Boys to combat this, because they're like, these guys aren't gonna get fucking justice.
Yeah.
I
What was that?
Yeah, like you can see that. You've seen what happened previously. It's just a rehash of the same shit. Until we get conservative, courts,
Yeah.
not just the Supreme Court, but every other court,
Mm-hmm.
keep getting fucking let off.
And that's the good thing about, again, when these never Trumpers really get on my nerves, is because one of the good things about having Trump in, aside from all his great policies we love, it's the courts. He's packing the Supreme Court, but he's also packing the other courts, the DC courts or whatever the ones he can appoint. That shit matters.
Yeah, because if you could take it to the federal court, you stand a chance. Like with as far as Trump goes, like if I could, you take it to the terror courts, right? Like if you press terrorism charges on them, like you can get this thing federal, and I can get you in a federal court. I could go after your ass.
That's where,
if they keeping it in state, so the Proud Boys, like, they're stuck in the New York State court system, right? That's what's happening with them. But maybe maybe with the the labeling Antifa a terrorist organization, and apparently some of these guys were Antifa, the ones that they were fighting. Maybe they could appeal it on a federal level and then force the federal side to intervene, and then there's a little bit more of a yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And it's just, it's such a shitty situation, because the Proud Boys are one of the most, it's like InfoWars, one of the most misrepresented things ever. And and speaking of that, we can talk about that fake news in a second, because there's another fake news story I just saw on Twitter. But the Proud Boys, that's fake news too, because you see even people on the right call the Proud Boys alt-right racist. It's one of the stupidest things ever. The Proud Boys are a multi-racial frat, multi-racial pro-Trump frat that defends pro-Trump people. That's it. Said it a million times, and I have to keep saying it till it gets in people's heads, or people that don't know about the Proud Boys actually know what they are now. Fake news from CNN. This was retweeted by Raheem Kassam. This guy named Richie McGinnis says, "That's me in the center of the frame," and it shows a screenshot of a shot from CNN. "I was right next to St. John's Church where Trump appeared publicly." At CNN, Chiron, I think that's how you say his last name, says that protesters were tear gas and shot with rubber bullets, but I didn't see or hear any tear gas or rubber bullets used. Plenty of pepper spray, though. So the whole tear gas, like what Hillary Clinton said, is fake news. Tear gassing protesters, fake news. And they're lucky they weren't tear gas. But the other fake news is, what did you guys see? InfoWars was trending on Twitter today.
Oh boy, I'm surprised they didn't target that.
Well, they were trending for fake news, and it wasn't InfoWars spraying fake news. It was people spraying fake news about InfoWars. So there was an InfoWars stream happening last night. Savannah Hernandez, I think her name is, or Savannah Rodriguez. I can't believe I'm slipping on her name, but she's a great reporter from InfoWars, does on the ground work, and she filmed with her producer a homeless guy who he had like his little setup there, and Antifa came in and lit his mattress on fire and started destroying his stuff, and he was freaking out because I mean he's got nothing, and they're destroying what little he has left of nothing. And so he's freaking out, and then he goes to the camera and starts saying like, you people burn this is awful, this is terrible, and the media clipped it right there. it looked like he was accusing InfoWars of burning his shit because he was looking at the camera. Turns out, if you watch the full clip, he keeps going and he explains that these people came up, burned his shit, these anarchists, and they clipped it. So they didn't see the full context.
Yeah.
And he was just venting his rage into the camera, hoping people would, see it. I mean, it's just so fake.
If you do that sort of level of manipulation, I feel that you should be subject to civil liability from InfoWars.
Yeah, they might sue him.
If they can sue Alex Jones for civil charges for the stuff with the kids of the mass shooting victims or whatever, the parents. InfoWars should be able to get sue about this. If there's fucking justice.
No justice, no peace. Oh man, it's so bad. And on top of that, I have to say, I need to find the clip, but then again, it speaks to the people of InfoWars here. Like I said, they seem like great people when I met them. I met her too at CPAC. She was on the streets there, and some guy, I think he got out of his car, he was around the car, he lost his glasses. I don't know if somebody knocked him or something, or they just fell out, and he's looking for them, and this thug comes up and just punches the guy. And he's like, yo, I'm looking for my glasses, leave me alone. And the guy's still intimidating him, and then Savannah from InfoWars, and look, I'm not saying this to demean her or anything, but she's a small, thin girl. She's not this buff, bodybuilder, Secret Service agent or something, or some fucking Marine. She went up to this big, tall thug and just said, she was like, leave this guy alone. He's just trying to find his glasses. Leave him alone. She's really getting in his face. And the dude backed off. I was like, damn. The fucking info warriors out there.
Yeah, I mean, they got some pretty decent reporters out there. I mean, but yeah, there's a lot. Look, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of desperation going on with this media, because this isn't this group of, I don't know. I don't see this being very beneficial for the Democrats coming in. Of course, that's still going to depend on the kind of response that's going to happen, soon thereafter. But definitely, it's gonna. We'll see. Right now, I think that's a good start. The Trump's press conference and crossing the street, going to the church, very good sign. We got to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess what? People aren't even paying attention to now. It's the actual guy's death. People are more worried about this stuff because that's the thing. It's harming this guy's fucking memory.
Yep.
Stuff no one's gonna remember the dude who died. They're just gonna remember how people just looted and protested. It's really disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been hearing about this stuff going on in China?
What's going on now?
Well, I don't know if you even talked about it the other day, but apparently they're trying to go and yank the status of Hong Kong, its semi-independent status.
Oh boy, that's gonna piss them off even more now. The Hong Kong protesters.
I think it's Pompeo who said if they do this, we're gonna remove our trade associations with Hong Kong and treat them like mainland China.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think they didn't the U.S. already do that though? I
think they're talking about it. I don't think they've done anything yet.
Because they're saying they're accusing China of manipulating the trade war by going through Hong Kong.
Well, no, they're pissed off now because China is going to implement the national security bill, which has nothing to do with national fucking security.
Right.
Stuff they were protesting about months ago, but now since lockdowns were going on, they yeah, they're using that, I guess, now as a perfect time to just go and start wrecking their shit. Yeah, no one's paying attention now because other stuff. That's why I think the Chinese are likely involved with this.
Well, yeah.
It's a big fucking, no one's paying attention to them right now. They're keeping all eyes off of China.
Well, this is we're talking about. When you're talking about some of these foundations, like the Soros Foundation or whatever, a lot of it's like the Clinton Foundation. You have all kinds of dirty money funneling through that organization and feeding this stuff. Like, you're not gonna, like, it gives, like, they're basically saying that, like, like Soros himself isn't donating money to these organizations. It's the Soros Foundation, which are funneling a whole bunch of they're funneling a whole bunch of money through all these foreign entities, and that's where they're getting their money. And that's what's and I would bet money that China's pumping money into that shit too.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like, it's keeping the eyes off of them. If they weren't before, they're definitely doing it now.
But maybe, again, if you're labeling somebody a terrorist organization, and if the Soros Foundation is funding these terrorist organizations, now the FBI can go into their fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a broad picture here. It's like, again, I mean, the Democrats are using a lot of smoke and mirrors, but a lot of the where the terrorist designation is key is in the investigator process. Like they can use the weight of the federal powers to go and investigate these people, these organizations. And yeah, I mean, they could even, I mean, shit, they could even make them public if they wanted to. I mean,
but that's, it's going to depend on, like, the judges, because I have a feeling that this is going to get thrown out. Like, the executive order, or whatever, designating that as a terrorist organization, just because it might be considered overly broad, because this has happened before. Like, back in the day, there was like an anti-KKK law, and what happened was they, like, all the other, like, the one group splintered into a bunch of different groups that were like, technically, we don't have the word KKK in the name, so we're technically not affected by this, but they're all the fucking same. It's the same thing with, like, drugs. Like, like, especially back in the day with, like, synthetic opiates, or not synthetic, well, I guess synthetic opiates, and, like, synthetic cannabinoids, where you have one, and then they go and change the fucking, like, drug by one molecule, and it would be considered something completely, like, it would be considered okay. And it becomes a game of cat and mouse.
Yep. I mean, it's gonna, at this rate, there's really only two solutions. Like, either that you're talking about either a civil war, or you're talking about a Great Purge scenario.
Yeah, it's, I really the thing I'm sort of struggling to predict is, like I said, I think Antifa and Proud Boys in some ways can come back with a vengeance. Maybe in other ways not, because of the damage that's been already done to the Proud Boys legally and financially. And, just, these people have been put in jail, lost money, can't see their families. And now nobody's going to want to do that. So, on the one hand, while I do see things heating up in some ways, overall, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, the urban communities, especially the black communities, their brand has taken such a devastating hit from this. I mean,
and these riots are right in their fucking neck of the woods, so it's going to be harming them. It's not, this isn't helping the black community at all. This is hurting them.
Like, how does this end racism? Which is what they said they wanted in the beginning. How the fuck is this helping?
Well, they don't want to. They honestly don't want to end racism.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't. They're not. I mean, we've seen like the heads of these organizations, like Black Lives Matter and stuff. Like they're not. They're they're funded by something else. Like they're not who they say they are. Yeah, I mean that's what we're dealing with, and there's a lot, and the problem is it's like there's actually a lot of good people within the Black Lives Matter movement, but the people that are running the fucking show, holy God. Yeah, they're getting funded, and they're getting they're moving in the direction of something completely different.
Well, how about that video you posted? I'm glad you found that one. You want to tell us about that guy that exposed them?
Yeah, that was one of the old school Black Lives Matter, like, not founders, but he was one of the old school, like, creators or organizers or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that, like, kind of let people know that no, these are outside people. These are outside people that were coming in and doing all sorts of anarchy or whatever. And I think he kind of left because the heads of these organizations are far left funded, and it wasn't necessarily about like the actual movement itself, but it was more far left agendas that are being pumped out. And like it's a really good video. I mean, we should spread it out there. But
yeah, I was gonna post on my Facebook because he really just, I mean, I think the one thing that'd be interesting is if he can pull some supporting evidence to back this up more. If he can present that would just be devastating. But you can tell on the way he says it, he's seen shit that just totally turned his world upside down. He thought he was fighting police brutality, fighting for black people, fighting for justice, and fighting for ending racism, and he realized it was a whole giant scam. And that's the thing, is like, the thing that always made me question Black Lives Matter's legitimacy as a grassroots movement was, why is this an issue now? I think police brutality has always been a thing. Some times it's probably been a bigger issue than other times, but why now? In the age of identity politics, and why is this being brought up now? Because you could probably find so many videos of police brutality of white on black or black on black, any race on any race. You could probably find tons of it every day. But they pick these certain cases in certain cities with certain races involved, and it gets fed to the media and it gets pumped out, and we're forced to think this is important. Now, that's just a guess. I have no proof to back it up. I bet if you dig, you could find something. But that seems to be the thing about it, is that it is so engineered and it's so contrived, and we're forced to think that this is something important. And look, I'm not saying some of these cases aren't important. Like the George Floyd one, yeah, these cops fucked up pretty bad. This was terrible. But ones like Michael Brown, initially, not many details. People were kind of like, yeah, you're Black Lives Matter people, you're people defending the cops and people in between. Once it was all, the trial went through, you realize Darren Wilson did nothing wrong, pretty much. He acted in self-defense. Like Michael Brown's trying to take his gun, and he, after just robbing a store. So, totally different perspective once all the facts come out. So, that's where, I mean, it's already on shaky ground, this whole idea that, I mean, Black Lives Matter says they're fighting at a minimum police brutality, but it's more about police brutality against blacks, and in many extents they think it's racist. And then you get people that literally think cops are just hunting down black people and killing them. I mean, you get some really crazy shit people are saying. And that's when you kind of go, something ain't right here.
Yeah, I mean, we got to. I hope that this amounts to something. I really hope that this whole thing, you know, I mean, it's frightening. It's frightening that like when you label somebody a terrorist organization, that you're like, it does get kind of frightening in the sense of like, it gives the feds access to all kinds of information that can really invade someone's privacy. At the same time, we have to keep people safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like this little dance that you have to kind of dance with. And you hope that it's you hope that solutions happen that aren't too bad, because I think whatever solution we get is probably good. There's going to be some bad in it, whatever happens. But like, you just hope that, like, because this is like, I don't know, this whole thing is just like political extortion or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people that are funded and all that shit, like, who the fuck, how do these kids that look like they're fucking homeless, how can they afford these pallets of brick
And these
they're just coming in?
batons.
Yeah,
This is one thing Gavin was talking about. They have these like brand spanking new batons. They're hundreds of dollars. How do these losers afford this shit? They don't.
Yeah.
They can't. And that's where I think it's what's going to be really, again, this is critical. Got to keep Trump in 2020, because can you imagine if they do this full-on federal investigation of Antifa collecting all this shit? Oh, they could find some shit that would blow people's minds. Even people on the right who already, think they're red pill on Antifa would get their minds blown.
Yeah, there could be a lot of information. I don't know. I think it might be. There's always a fear, because it's like there's I was always led to believe that if one side is doing something, the other side is usually doing it too. And there could be a good chance that like whatever Trump decides to do, he could probably get Bush back on both sides. But like, depending on what happens to this election, I mean, I hope these people wake the hell up and realize that that this shit. I mean, this is just like mountains of shady.
Yeah, and that's why I've kind of, I don't want to say I've gotten, I mean, I always try to look at things fairly, and like you said, think that the other side's probably doing something too, but I realize there's a difference between acting fair and being fair. And I feel like sometimes in the past I used to kind of force myself to try to be quote unquote fair, when I was really just sort of force myself to act fair, when being fair is really just looking at both sides. Let's see what one side's doing, see if the other side's doing it, and if one side's doing it and the other's not, you say it for what it is. Like, that's why I get kind of annoyed, like with people like Marco Rubio. We were talking about this the other night. Oh, both the far left and the far right were provoking violence in these cities. No, they fucking weren't. This was a one-sided thing. Show me the Trump supporters in this crowd. Where are the fucking Trump supporters here? Do you see anybody with MAGA hats? No. Do you see any Proud Boys? No.
Yeah, Yeah, like, see, I don't understand that. Like, they're fucking not even there. It's like, because at least, you know, with Charlottesville, you could say there was fucking two sides,
There were
like
two sides, yeah.
over there, and you know, to some extent, both sides were in the wrong.
Well, with Charlottesville, you can take it one step further and say there were four sides. There was the alt-right, there was the alt-left, aka Antifa, there were the peaceful people on the right that wanted the statue to stay, and the peaceful people on the left that wanted the statue to go. You know,
yeah. But then the left goes and takes a fucking magnifying glass and pretends that there was no Antifa violent presence over there.
Yeah,
and it's like only the alt-right that are doing anything here. Like that, like, see, I think, you know, fucking Charlottesville is probably one of the biggest fucking lies that I've seen the past probably like 5 years. Well, no, I can't even say that because we had the fucking Las Vegas.
Yeah, and the Vegas shooting.
Like, that's probably a bigger lie, but it was a huge fucking lie. And the media's view on this is completely bogus and represents someone that doesn't really do their fucking homework. Like, this isn't we don't have a fucking true media here. The media here is presenting one side and one side only.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing too with Charlottesville is, I mean, yeah, it was one of the most biased, fakest coverages ever, and then they took it one step further, and they keep repeating this fucking, as Scott Adams has dubbed it, and a guy from Breitbart, the fine people hoax, that Trump called the neo-Nazis fine people when he clearly condemned them. It is such a big lie, and you see people repeat it. And one thing he mentioned on his Twitter feed, because what I do like about Scott Adams is he tries to find genuine people on both sides and work with them to a productive solution or some sort of productive collaboration. And I know he's talked to Van Jones a bit. He talked to one guy from Black Lives Matter who was decent, but then that guy from Black Lives Matter went full-on racist, and so he unfollowed him, and they had a sort of falling out. But Scott Adams even reached out to Jake Tapper, of all people, and he got Jake Tapper to kind of see the other side here. They even did some cartoons together, some Dilbert cartoons together to raise money for veterans. Great thing. And Jake Tapper, according to Scott Adams, he talked to him about the fine people hoax. He said, Jake, look, you people at CNN and you have been repeating this hoax. This is the truth of it. He told him this privately, explained it to him, and he thought Jake Tapper had learned and understood his perspective and wasn't going to do it again. And then the other night, Jake Tapper brought back up the fine people hoax. Scott Adams got so mad, he unfollowed Tapper, blocked him, and on his live stream was like, I don't want to work for that asshole with that asshole ever again. He's terrible. Something along those lines. It just shows you it's deliberate in some cases.
Yeah, it's straight up lies, and it's basically allowed the left to destroy history across all the states because of one incident from one group of people. And they weren't, and honestly, like, if you can look at the amount of total protesters there, they weren't even the fucking majority. There was a decent alt-right presence, but there was I bet there was more just regular people on the right there than the people who are alt-right, but that's not what makes good fucking media coverage.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say I'll go into detail on this on the next show. But one of the main reasons that the Democratic Party wants to essentially erase history is because when you look at African Americans in this country, the true atrocities within within that have happened within the African American community have happened with Democrats. Like the Democrat Party has this like racist, completely royally racist past, right? So there's a reason why they want to like erase the past, because it has a whole bunch of them in it. Like,
yeah, no, I get that. And then like another thing too is they have this weird like view that just out of the blue in like I think the 50s or something, like both parties like completely switched platform.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Why would they do that? Like, for what purpose would you switch your entire platform? The only thing that happened was the Democrats realized, hey, I can go and try to appeal to minority. Like from what I understand, the Republicans were always sort of like, kind of towards, and if you want to go look at it as a single side view, be more towards like fucking business and sort of capital, and then the Democrats are always sort of more, like socialists and shit, and like trying to go and help the working person. At least that's what that's what they claimed.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't fucking change. They just realized, hey, white people, we can just go and try to do shit for minorities. And you'd have LBJ go and say some very racist shit because he knew it would go and make Democrats vote for them, like the black community vote for them for 50 years. And for the most part, he was right about that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, but you even like they don't teach them about the history of the racist past when it comes to these Democrats, right? Because Alabama at that time was Democrat. Like that was a Democrat straw when you're talking about back in the States. Seriously,
well,
they
like Democrats applied because look at the fucking Civil War. The people who survived that shit, they were a bunch of poor people. After the Civil War, they got fucked up for like a long time because there's no industrial capacity like the North.
Yeah, and well,
they
they
don't go down like you're talking about Rosa, like Rosa Parks, right? Everybody knows Rosa Parks, and they know about the the protests, and when they took the government to court, they didn't tell you that those segregationist laws, they were pushed by Democrats, right? You were talking about Democrat mayor, Democrat governor, even the guy that they sued to get their rights, that the Rosa Parks and Company, they went to sue to get those rights, was the Democrat mayor, right? This is part of their history. This is in part why they're trying to get rid of this history. This is some of the parts they don't want you to see.
Yeah,
right.
They're all monuments to basically Democrats.
Yeah,
these fucking Democrats.
If anything, it's the Republicans that ended all of it, that didn't believe in all that mess, right?
This is what happens when you let the left take over these major institutions like the media, the education system. You take over those industries that can brainwash people from when they're young and to when they transition to adulthood, and even beyond then. That's why they still believe this shit.
I was talking a little bit with Donnie, and I was telling some people, because like whenever some of these things come out or whatever, they like to use Dr. Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
They like to use some of his quotes, some of like as inspiration or whatever. I'm like, look, you may not want to do that, like if you're voting Democrat. Like this is one of those things. It's like, they have this Democrat past, and then it's like, well, can they change? And it's like, well, sure, anybody can change, but in all honesty, did they? Because these Democrats, even in all these big cities, they've had control over these cities for decades, and they haven't done any. Look, they haven't really. They've raised taxes. They've heightened restrictions with legislation, right? Through legislation, they've essentially taken away a lot of people's personal liberties, and and these African Americans that are in these cities really have nothing to show for it. There's some of the most poorest neighborhoods, some of the most poorest sections of the city, and but this is they're acting like this is like systemic racism. But and maybe I don't know if it's so much like systemic racism as much as it is mismanagement, as much as it is political mismanagement, because you've had this stronghold for so long and nothing significant, the needle hasn't significantly changed in these cities.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you'd think if the Democrats really cared about not being racist and all this stuff and having, accountable police officers, they would have done it by now.
Yeah,
Power's been in the hands of Democrats for as long as I can remember.
You fucking nailed it, Alex. They have these are the policies. The policing policies have been created by these Democrats. They've caved into these unions that have made it almost impossible to fire these shitty cops, to charge these shitty cops. And I'm not saying that all these cops are bad. A lot of them are really good, but it's impossible to fire the bad ones, the few bad ones that are out there.
Yeah.
These Democrat policies make it almost impossible to fire these people, to and it's like, and a lot of these Democratic leaders, they just don't want to touch it. They would rather just not deal with the problem, or they just try to sweep it under the rug instead of solving the problem, instead of taking care of it right out of the gate. So I don't know if it's so much racism as much as it is just mismanagement or laziness or fear of a bad public image or something along those lines.
Or who knows? It could be fucking racism, because
it could be. I mean, it could be.
And there's some of the most racist people out there.
Yeah.
They like to pretend they're not, but like, look at their policies. They want to go and disarm black people specifically, because white people, they can always get their guns, and even in like Europe and shit, it might not be, the useful, like particularly useful, but you could still get them. It's just impossible for the working class and for minorities to get guns in a lot of these places. And that's what a lot of the gun control advocates from the beginnings of the 1900s have always wanted to go disarm minorities. So that's where that comes from. Abortion, that's another eugenics program brought to you by the Democrat Party. They want to go and make less, remove black people from society. That's why they proposed abortion. Because, like, look, it's like 50% of black babies are aborted. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, look at all the other stuff too. A lot of these things, a lot of these ideas, like what was it for the colleges? What's the word for that?
You're thinking of not reparations, but affirmative action.
Yeah, affirmative action. That the whole idea is racist, implying that black people aren't smart enough to get into college normally.
Yeah.
It's racism of low expectation.
Yep.
And that's brought to you by the Democrat Party. Like, they have not changed their racist ways. They just go about it in a different manner.
Mm-hmm. It's more subtle.
Yeah, and it's still insidious. Like, honestly, like, they bring up the term microaggression, but that's what these things are. Their policies are microaggressions, implying that black people can't, go to Harvard normally, implying that all of them are poor, and that's not true. They're perpetuating these stereotypes, and it causes people, to be. It harms the community, like, especially with what's that? The government money. It's that one.
Welfare.
Yeah, welfare, like that whole system makes
Yeah.
it people don't like. Why would you go to work if you have to like make $50,000 plus to get all the benefits you would if you're on welfare? It makes people not want to work, not want to better themselves.
Yeah. And then that's how they sandbagged elections too. Because it's like, yeah, if you vote Republican, they're gonna naturally take some of that stuff away because you're trying to promote like actually getting a job and working and building something out of yourself. But if you're making more than you would, you know, or if you're like if you're pulling in enough money to not have to work hard or whatever, then it's like it's like an indirect bribe for a Democrat vote.
Yeah, that's what destroyed the Romans.
And
When they
what's
started free fucking like bread.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and what's I'm gonna change gears in a second here because there's something interesting to talk about. But what is the common theme of all this stuff that Democrats have done to minorities? It's control, taking the guns away, giving them money, giving them privilege, giving them easy passes into universities.
Yeah.
It's all about control.
Here's something to think about too. They don't teach, and them not teaching African Americans the full history is very similar to a lot of the education tactics in the days of slavery. Like a lot of these slaves they kept them from being able to read because if these guys developed enough of smarts, they could end up being smart enough to really fight back with this whole the whole being a slave thing. They don't want that. They want to keep you stupid because if I could keep you stupid, I could keep you in control. And those applications are still being applied today in our education system.
That's why they hate school choice too, because they have the fucking stupid teachers.
Yeah, they want to, like in DC, they want to keep you in public school. Then public schools have like a less than 20% literacy rate or something like that. No, they want to keep you stupid. They want to keep you in control.
The city ones, especially, not the ones out like where all the like rich liberals live and all the rich other people. They keep the ones in the cities fucked up on purpose.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole insidious plan for the Democrat Party, and honestly, it's been going away. They've been getting away with it for years, and nothing. And people are afraid to go and call them out on it, but it's really disgusting activity.
Well, that's because some of these big time players in the Democratic Party, they're pushing a lot of money. They're making a lot of money. You got China pumping in a lot of money. You've got like the whole Soros Foundation. You've got a lot of big money that's kind of keeping them at hush. You've got like some of the biggest Democratic donors. You talk about the Teachers Association,
unions.
the Teachers Union, which is like one of the most corrupt unions out there. This is why. This is why teachers are pieces of shit and will never be kicked out. They're like. They'll never be kicked out. You have these teachers are doing all this fucked up shit to these kids. They're fucking the kids. They're doing weird shit with all the kids, and then they can't get fired because the unions fight back and shit.
Why isn't Black Lives Matter protesting the teachers who sexually assault students at an incredibly high rate? Why isn't that being brought up? Because a lot of these students, they're the students who are not doing so well. A lot of them are minorities. They come from, broken households, single parent families. Like, and look at how much happened with these people, like with, the school teachers versus even like Catholic priests. Like there was I think 200 incidents of sexual assaults from Catholic priests, and I think it was like 20,000 incidents of sexual misconduct between students and teachers last year. It was some sort of it was like way more than the number of Catholic priests. And these mostly target minorities and low income students. Black Lives Matter should be targeting these people. They should be demanding that teachers take training to prevent this activity because it's easy and it's a male thing too. Because a lot of these teachers are females seducing men and raping children.
It's a patriarchy, isn't it?
Seen as a problem because it's male students, but you can go and look at what happens after that. It might seem like, oh, that sounds cool. I wish I banged my teacher when I was in high school. But honestly, there's a lot of like mental issues it can cause and emotional scarring from that behavior. It's they're raping kids, and the teachers unions make it so it's hard to go and fire these teachers, and they drag their feet with it. It's the same thing as the police unions in a lot of cases.
Yep, it's exactly the same thing with the police unions. Because it makes it these people, like, you look at the guy who put his knee on George Floyd's neck, right? He had multiple issues. He should have never, he should have lost his badge fucking years ago. But here we go. This whole system where, you got chief prosecutors like Amy Klobuchar that didn't want to prosecute, wanted to kind of sweep it under the rug. And dude, you don't think that didn't embolden this cop to maybe want to be more bold with some of what he was doing? Yeah, I mean, this is the type of shit that blows up in your face down the road. But
breaking news, and this is important news: a federal judge has granted Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue control Monday of a Oklahoma property. So she now has been granted a Oklahoma property.
Oh shit! Is that fucking the one that what fucking exotic end?
It says, here's the lead. A federal judge granted Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue control Monday of imprisoned reality TV star Joe Exotic's former zoo properties in Oklahoma, finding they were fraudulently transferred to avoid paying her under a $1 million trademark judgment.
Dude, that bitch needs to go to fucking jail. I was rewatching that with my parents, this weekend I went over there. She fucking murdered her husband.
She did.
Allegedly. But, just look at the fucking facts over there. It's too convenient how he just kind of disappeared. There should be a full, the Trump administration should go and order using whatever fucking money needs to go into it, figure out what the hell happened to that guy. He does that's just beyond belief what would happen to her husband, and he just disappears, that she's been having fucking issues with for such a long time.
Mm-hmm. And she's clearly crazy. When you see her, you're like, there's something wrong with this person.
Yeah, look at what she was doing. She used to have a big, it was just like Joe Exotics, buying and breeding fucking big cats. Now she's like, oh, well, I don't do that anymore. It's terrible. We need to go and stop these people. You're part of the fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
She's causing these issues over here, and she doesn't even pay her fucking, workers. They're all volunteers.
Yeah.
She is a piece of shit, human scum, fucking, probably, alleged murderer of her husband. And, those allegations seem like they have a decent bit of weight because from what I understand, reopening that investigation on them. But they need, once all this shit gets dealt with, Trump should go and order the fucking federal charges to be investigated against her. To see what's going on there.
To be clear, when I say she killed her husband, that's allegedly, and that's just my guess. But yeah, it's it gets better. It says Carol Baskin. This is on People's magazine. Carol Baskin granted control of Joe Exotic's former zoo as Jeff Lowe has 120 days to vacate the property. That's the only good thing, is it fucks over that guy. That guy was scum. But she is mega scum too. But holy shit, yeah, she took Joe's property. Just like he said the whole time, she's trying to take me over. I mean, he was right in the end.
Trump should give Joe Exotic a presidential pardon.
Hashtag pardon Joe Exotic.
I would love to see that, just to go and fuck over Carol Baskin.
Jesus. Anyway, to go back to the thing, I was talking about that's huge is something Sam Whitfield pointed out in our Discord server, and it's that Matt Gaetz' tweet got censored just like Trump's for being too spicy. So if you go to Matt Gaetz' Twitter feed, a tweet from 11 hours ago it's hidden, and it says this tweet violated Twitter rules about glorifying violence. So I click on it, and this is his tweet, and I have to say it's a good one. This is what Matt Gaetz said. He said, "Now that we clearly see Antifa as terrorists, can we hunt them down like we do those in the Middle East?"
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. If they're an actual terrorist organization, I don't see how that's wrong to go and hunt terrorists if they're actually terrorists. Isn't that why they're designated a terrorist group?
Yep.
Like they're basically proscribed persons at this point.
Yeah, but he's glorifying violence, so we have to hide this tweet.
So yeah, if there's if this thing holds and Antifa is designated a terrorist organization, I mean, honestly, could you go after Twitter?
I don't think you'd be able to go. I mean, you'd be able to go after Twitter for other shit, but I don't think for this. I think that other executive order should let him go after fucking Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I wish Trump would just go to fucking, like, what was it, Gab or something. Because if Trump did, then that would become a popular. I think that would actually help. Like, if you had someone like Trump do that, people would start going to Gab just to see what he has to say. And it would get other people to go to Gab.
So that's the interesting thing, is the only time I think alternatives ever have any chance is when a big name moves. Like PewDiePie moving from Twitch to DLive is huge. And Twitch is still the king, but DLive it's grown substantially. Could an alternative happen for a Twitter alternative? Maybe.
I think so.
Could.
I absolutely believe so. And speaking of Twitch, you hear what they've been doing lately?
What have they been doing?
Like apparently, like their whole rule system, it's so corrupt in there. If you have a lot of subscribers and you do something that clearly violates the fucking guidelines, like they had some girl, someone sent her like a video and it was a pornography and she didn't know and she clicked on it and then she immediately clicked off and they didn't even like suspend her for that because she had a lot of subs. But if it does that, you'll get your fucking ass canned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helping other people for accidental nudity or accidental this or that.
Well, I Googled Twitch, and what comes up, their fucking Twitter page, and they have, like everybody else, a fucking statement with a black background and white text, because, ooh, this shit's serious. And it says, "Black people have been suffering under the oppressive weight of racism in America for far too long. We cannot delight in the creative contributions of the black community on Twitch and remain silent while they are in pain. We're asking you to come together and stand up for black lives, whether it's through your time, treasure, or talent. Don't let today's injustice stop us from creating a better tomorrow for our community." Wow.
Like honestly, just probably the worst online video platform I've actually like. I don't even think I have an account on there because it's such a piece of shit.
I love how they say they start off with black people have been suffering under the oppressive weight of racism in America for far too long. What oppressive weight is on black people right now? What oppressive weight is on any race right now? None. It's just they come from a mindset that America is still in the 1950s. They think, or even the 1930s maybe, we gotta wind it back a bit more. They act like Jim Crow is just like still hidden in the laws. That there's the white man's holding the black man down is preposterous. And then they go on and they gotta use fucking alliterations. Time, treasure, or talent. Oh boy. Wow, you guys are so clever. Hashtag George Floyd. Hashtag blah 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 blah. Hashtag Ahmaud Arbery. Wow. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. All in that tweet. Fucking unbelievable. Let's see if G Fuel did something. Isn't that Keemstar's former sponsor?
Yeah, dude, that fucking H3H3 dude, he's such a piece of shit.
Yo, let's see if he said something. See if he made a statement with a black background to be all dramatic. No. No, he just says, oh, look, no. Yeah. He's just trying to be a normie. Oh. Isn't America so crazy right now? That's sort of his vibe all the time. Yeah, I mean, that shit too. He goes after people's advertisers. And then Keem was telling people, like, don't go after his advertisers. And people kind of did anyway. And then H3H3 lost. He lost a big name as an advertiser. I forget who it was. Oh, it was Old Spice. They dropped him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't fucking like that H3H3 dude. I don't see what makes him popular. His wife literally does nothing for that show. And you know why she's on there? She barely like does fucking anything. He's a fucking sympathizer. Fucking piece of shit, dude. Like,
yeah,
going after advertisers, starting. Not like we just had like multiple different adpocalypses. Like, if you can somehow get monetized, you ain't making shit. And YouTube's getting more and more arbitrary each day for what they will, shut you down for. Or YouTube is getting more crazy every day for what they'll shut you down for. Now, this dude's going after advertisers. Fuck him. We had enough of this problem before. We don't need it again. Like, I get it. You don't like Keemstar. Don't fucking talk to him.
Yeah.
If you don't like someone, just get the fuck out. Don't talk to them. Just get your shit and get together, because I hope honestly, I hope H3H3 loses his fucking sponsors, because that's what he gets. You start throwing the fucking mud, you're gonna get shit on your hands.
See, that's the thing that that's the way I've been sort of thinking now is, I will never initiate those sort of tactics, but if somebody does that to me, I think karma is fully justified.
Yeah, use their own tactics against them.
Mm-hmm. Rules for radicals.
I won't throw the fucking first stone, but if they decide to go and deal with that, if they throw it first, I'm not just going to go. Like, see, that's the problem with the Republicans, is they're afraid to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone uses, like, fucking tactic, like something against you, if they start hitting below the belt, you hit below the belt fucking harder. If your fucking enemy decides to go and start attacking you with like all sorts of shit like that, attacking your advertisers, you attack right back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you deal with that.
There's another virtue signaling tweet, but this one was sent out on May 30th, and it's from Netflix. They have 1 million likes on this tweet. 1 million. That's a pretty big number. And this is what they said. No black background with a fucking statement. It was a full-on just tweet, no image posted or anything. It just says, to be silent is to be complicit. Black Lives Matter. We have a platform, and we have a duty to our black members, employees, creators, and talent to speak up. That's fucking it.
I'm surprised the college Republicans haven't released some sort of bullshit statement.
Well, let's check. Maybe they have.
I like to do that for everything.
I know.
Really useless things. So
instead of actually taking action, they just release statements. Oh, how did their fucking Takeout Tuesday go? Does anybody know?
I didn't hear shit about it.
I didn't even hear shit from the college Dems. I told them it was not gonna work. They didn't believe me. Oh, damn it. Okay, so CR's no statement on the Black Lives Matter thing or anything like that. No more updates on Takeout Tuesday. CDs, though. Okay, oh shit. CDs retweeted something. Two things here. Okay, they retweeted something that has a screenshot from a Center County Republicans Facebook page. The tweet reads thread on harmful hashtag COVID-19 political rhetoric locally. As Center County enters the green phase of reopening, it is incumbent that all of us work together. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is what the Center County Republicans said on their Facebook. They share an article from Real Clear Politics that says U.S. COVID-19 death toll is inflated. And they said, people who rely on trusted sources have known this for quite a while. Soros' crisis actors come out of the woodwork every election cycle to manufacture a basis for false narratives, fake news, etc. More and more people are seeing through this.
Good.
Center County Republicans.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that from them. Congrats.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's gonna like that sort of shit's gonna sound like in that context. I can see how people could see that as a little kooky, but I don't have a problem with it, even if it's not 100% accurate. They're on the right trail here. But the College Democrats Executive Board released a statement on the murder of George Floyd and the ensuing protests. Let's see what they said, and then that'll be it for today.
Actually, I'm kind of curious with some of that stuff with the Center County GOP. Whatever happened to that one guy that used to come on here a bit?
He's been very busy with trying to cram Spanish in for an entire month.
I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Yeah, I just talked to him actually today. He will probably be able to come on next week or the following week. But he has said the CCGOP has been more and more difficult to deal with recently because they're not listening.
Well, yeah, we should have a conversation once this is over.
We should. So I'll leave it at that for now. But here's the CD statement. We are currently at a crossroads in American history. Oh boy. With over 100,000 dead due to COVID-19 Chinese virus, we continue to lose more of our through the agency of an arguably more pervasive disease, racism.
Well, we're about to go through that, aren't we? Because there is no social distancing. People don't give a fuck about the masks. So one of two things is going to happen. Either we realize that this COVID-19 stuff is a fucking scam, or we realize, or these people just potentially made all that fucking social distancing stuff completely useless by gathering in large groups to protest.
Mm-hmm.
So one of two things will happen, and I'm kind of thinking the latter is going to happen, but we'll see after all this shit goes down.
They're literally saying more people are dying of racism than COVID-19. That's literally what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're saying it's a more pervasive disease.
I don't know if I actually disagree with that, because I don't think that many people actually died from COVID-19. I think
I don't think so either. Yeah, that might actually be a good point.
Yeah, but do you here's the issue. I mean, I see where you're going with that, but do we think there is more COVID in America than racism?
I don't think there's that much COVID in America.
Yeah, but there's like no racism.
I don't know. There's racism, but it's not like everybody said like the Ku Klux Klan. Like, how many fucking Ku Klux Klan are still in the United States? I could probably count them with my hands and toes. Like,
they're
old and they're dying, and they're probably using meth, so they're probably dying faster too. Like
federal agents.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Some of them are fucking feds.
I heard this one story on 4chan. There was and that's 4chan, so it's probably not true, but I don't know anymore. Some of these federal agents.
No, Alex Jones, when he protested in Bullhorn, the Klan in Texas, he kept calling them federal agents.
Well, a lot of them fucking aren't. What happened was apparently there was this whole fucking Klan outlet over here, and it was comprised of nothing but different federal agents.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all trying to go investigate the Klan and get themselves to go and do some sort of violent action. Eventually it happened, and that's when all the fucking beans came out. I was like, oh shit. I think there's one guy who wasn't associated with the fucking feds, and they kept trying to get him to build machine guns and stuff.
Jesus Christ. Well, I think, look, COVID deaths, I think they're probably a little bit inflated. I don't know by how much, honestly. I actually think it's probably in the ballpark of that, but
I don't know.
But cops hunting down black people is fucking overinflated, way more than COVID. It continues as a statement. In the midst of the 5th day of protests in response to the murder of George Floyd, yeah, they're protests, all right, we applaud the members of our generation on the front lines of these protests and remain with them as allies in the endless fight against police brutality and systematic racism. The college Democrats at Penn State understand that many are frustrated with the Democratic Party for their role in creating some of the conditions that have led to the current state of this nation. Yo, as are we. Yo, common ground. Our organization unifies to point our party in a new direction, one that fights for black constituents who help hold it up. Wow.
Oh, that's actually I actually am kind of surprised there.
Did the college Republicans write this statement or the college Democrats?
Yeah, they realized they're part of the problem. Well, way to go.
Part of the progress.
Well, you can't run away from it. Like, people are smartening. Like I said, people are smartening up. Like, I think people are fucking realizing that, oh, we can't have this conversation without realizing that, oh, how many D's are running these fucking cities? Well, it's fucking all of them, damn near.
Well, I have a feeling that's not the angle they're gonna take. I think they're gonna twist it. Well, it looks like they do that in the second paragraph here. It says, in our relatively short lifetimes, we have seen an abhorrent number of racially motivated murders occur at the hands of state and vigilantes. Whoa. Who says they were racially motivated? Who has proven that? And here's who they list. Trayvon Martin, that wasn't proven to be racially motivated. Tamir Rice, I don't think so, but I forget that one. Eric Gardner, I think that was the guy that got choked. Sandra Bland.
Eric Gardner was the one that got choked for
Democrats for making it so fucking cigarette prices.
Lucy's. Yeah.
On New York.
Sandra Bland, I don't remember that one. Philandro Castile, a name sounds.
That was the one. Fucking, wasn't that the one? Philandro Castile, wasn't that the one that Keith Ellison botched? I think he botched that one.
Yeah, the Antifa, Keith Antifa Ellison, Walter Scott, Michael Brown, Jesus,
no,
fucking no, Freddie Gray, Alton Sterling, Osaze Ogi.
Some of those, some of those right away. Some of them you probably could have prosecuted some of those cases, but they these prosecutors, these chief prosecutors are overcharging the wrong ones, right? The ones that are legitimately wrong, like not that it's like systemic racism, but they're just bad cops. They're overcharging them, and then so anybody with a half decent fucking lawyer is gonna beat that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna try to get them for first degree murder, knowing damn good well you don't have the weight to get these people on first degree murder. So any fucking asshole lawyer is going to beat that shit. Like, you can't blame that on systemic racism. It's like, no, you can't do your fucking job as a prosecutor, so now you're letting these people walk. You suck. You suck at your fucking job. Like, that one Baltimore, the Freddie Gray thing, the Baltimore Marilyn Mosby or something like that. She's like, she was awful. She was awful. I think she ended up getting fired or some shit.
Well, that's all the fucking Democrats who are in charge of Baltimore. They either get they all kept getting their asses handed to them.
These are people that wanted to get famous. They wanted to get famous, and they wanted to sell to the public, oh, we're taking a stand. Like, really? Really? Knowing you don't have to wait to get these fucking people? Like, look, George Zimmerman, they overshot that fucking case too.
Oh, no, I don't think he did anything wrong with that one.
No,
the only thing he did wrong was he was told to stay in his car and he refused that order.
Yeah, They could have gotten him on something else, which
Mhm.
could have gotten him on. Like they couldn't have gotten him on first degree. Definitely could. First degree was immediately off the table. Second degree, I don't think they had him on second degree either. Uh, maybe manslaughter.
Yeah,
Maybe,
manslaughter at
but even that's like
most.
at most.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like,
The dude
you
started
know,
in the face, like before, like he even did anything.
What?
Didn't Trayvon that was one with Trayvon Martin, right?
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't Trayvon Martin start punching him in the face?
I
Like he
believe so, and he
I
had
believe
bruises to
that there was
prove it.
there was a little bit, yeah.
initiated
There
that.
was a scuffle. It
And
was definitely a scuffle. There was a scuffle, and there was no there really wasn't a clear uh like what happened like during that scuffle, like who started it or whatever.
I thought
Like
the stuff that he actually started that stuff.
yeah, but I mean that like so in the case that there's no clear message of who started it, you know, who gets the benefit of the doubt? The defendant,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, you know, I just like
I'm pretty sure the dude had bruises, and if he had a gun, you know, and he just decided to go and shoot him random, like if he's just shooting, you know, I don't think Trayvon had bruises. He just got shot.
Correct.
You know,
I think so. I mean, we're getting in the weeds here, but
yeah.
I'll
But in
keep...
any case, they tried to get him on degree, like tried to get him on some crazy shit, knowing they did, even if he did do it, they didn't have the weight to convict him on it, and so he walked. That was prosecutors that were trying to appease the public, and you know they got bit in
overplayed
the
their
ass
hand.
for it.
Yeah.
They overplayed their hand, absolutely.
So the statement lists all those people and then says, and now Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. Now the Breonna Taylor one's interesting that they mention that, because depending on whose side you believe, the family or the cops, it's kind of a Second Amendment issue right there.
Yeah.
And a Fourth Amendment issue, actually, I should say, because I don't want to take a side in that one, because I've heard two different things. One is that these cops kind of went in their home under this sort of, I forget what they call it, where you can just sort of go into your home, even if you have a warning, just go in without knocking.
Raids.
What?
No knock raids.
I think it's something like that. But then the cops say they did that, but they warned them that they were in there once they got in, and I think told them, hey, put the gun down, or hey, we're in here, and they didn't listen, and they had to shoot him.
There's no fucking excuse if you just have a fucking no knock raid. Like, I think that's the stupidest thing. Unless you're like Pablo Escobar or something, you shouldn't be doing no knock raids.
Yeah, I think that's definitely stupid. But
Yeah.
the whole narrative on both sides is getting a little. It's going to people's.
It's
it's
not
ideologies.
but even that's like it's not.
That's
it's not racism. It's just
Yeah.
At most it's cops abusing it's cops abusing their the power. I mean that's a
whole different
universal that's a universal issue. It's not
Mhm.
a black, white, whatever issue. That's just like those are just lazy cops or power hungry cops or something like that. It's not like and don't get me wrong, those are people that shouldn't have badges, but I mean that's not saying that like they're
It's not
talking about this.
racism.
Oh, and then
No.
the George Zimmerman wasn't even a cop either. So that's
Yeah,
he wasn't even white,
Yeah.
Hispanic, and they like to go and nix that fact.
Yeah, conveniently.
yeah.
It was Pac on Pac apocalypse.
And this statement continues. It goes, however, this list of black Americans... Okay, I want to point something out here actually very small. I noticed in all those statements I've read from companies, they capitalize black, but this statement does not. I don't get that, but whatever. I always thought you kept it lowercase, but maybe it's now AP style to capitalize it, but whatever. However, this list of black Americans who have fallen victim to a broken society compromises just a few of the cases we've observed to have most impacted the Penn State community. How the fuck does this impact Penn State? The rational, compassionate reaction to this pattern of senseless killings, and subsequent lack of justice is for our generation to be crying out in protest. Crying's a poor choice of words, but then again, it is accurate with these protests, because they do a lot of crying. The College Democrats promised to continue fighting for victims of both police brutality and white supremacy by electing candidates who condemn systematic and casual racism with their actions.
No, they don't. They perpetuate this shit. Every one of these.
Yeah. Alex nailed it.
Yeah.
Alex nailed it. He's like, look, these are people that have, what is it? They've called out this this made up systemic racism, and they've been doing it for years. They've been doing it to get in power, and then once they get in power, they don't do shit. They don't do the shit that they said they're going to do because they realize they can't. They're
well,
and then it's a cycle, and it's an endless cycle. Like, dude, like this is what I'm saying. If you're like, what do you have to lose by voting Republican?
And they also go on, they say they're going to be financially supporting black liberation movements such as Black Lives Matter and Campaign Zero, listening to and elevating the voices of our black students. How the fuck are you going to do that? So you're going to elevate people based on their race? Like,
yeah, that's a Democrat, you know? It's not surprising over there.
I know. And educating ourselves, peers, and families about the ways to, and they put this in italics, do better. That's my new fucking phrase that triggers me. Do better. You notice they keep saying that? Oh, you need to do better.
I believe they can do better. Vote for Republican.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it continues. In the United States, police must be demilitarized. Whoa. I gotta stop him right there. I've always been against that, demilitarizing police. And you wanna know why? It's because of the shit we're seeing right now. You take away the shit they need when shit hits the fan, and you don't have it, and you have chaos in the streets, and then you wonder why shit doesn't get under control.
I don't know about that. I don't mind police having weapons, but I think some of the shit that they have is a little bit fucking much.
Some things, yeah.
I remember watching that back before that dude was caught raping his daughter, that Sons of Guns show.
Oh yeah.
Like, not everybody needs an MRAP, but
they have grenade launchers and shit. Dude, that's crazy. They are literally so fucking armed. I think that they should have a rifle and stuff in their squad car, but unless you're guarding the fucking national monument or something, why do you need to go and have some of this crazy shit?
Well, that's the other thing. It does depend on the location. Cops for cities, I think they need some beefy shit because protests happen all the time there.
But they shouldn't be using that for the day-to-day unless it's a fucking war zone.
Yeah, it's something you keep in the garage to when you need it. Again, they say the United States police must be demilitarized, transparent with their use of force doctrines. The fuck does that mean? And trained extensively in de-escalation tactics rather than acting as perpetrators of violence.
De-escalation tactics or their the use of force tactics or whatever, the use of force doctrine.
Train extensively in de-escalation tactics rather than acting as perpetrators of violence.
Well, use of force doctrine, that's when they can go and use force and when they can't.
Okay.
That's what that means.
See, they use things like that, and I wish they'd explain because not a lot of people exactly are going to know what that means. The desperate necessity to reform the process by which law enforcement brought to justice is long overdue. The Penn State College Democrats recognized that Bernie Sanders, and Julian Castro led the way on this issue in the 2020 presidential primary, and we demanded Joe Biden adopt their platforms. Wow. That's the takeaway right there, is that line. College Dems have officially moved far left in their leadership, and they're pushing their moderates to go further left. That's interesting, because the chatter I heard before was that they were in some massive infighting. They were overall going more radical, but I think their ex-president, Kelsey Denny, was on the Klobuchar team.
Oh, God.
And I think everybody on their exec board was for somebody different. So this is interesting, actually. That's actually interesting. We call on our fellow Penn State students to be actively anti-racist in their actions and in their communities. What was that?
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Actually, do you see there's an update on that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the story from Penn State.
Racist shit.
What was that? Every time, like, I notice for some reason we need to figure out this problem. When one of us is speaking and you speak, your thing goes so, like, low that you can't understand anything you're saying. It's real weird. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think that that one case there was something that like the dude's dad was the one who was screaming the racist shit according to an update on the article.
Oh. So they started a petition trying to ruin this kid's life over something his dad did.
That's pretty fucked that his dad would be doing that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's stupid. And I have to say, that's one thing I've noticed with, oh, I don't know how to phrase this right, but older people tend to not get how that shit is bad. Like, perceived in a worse way today than it was in their time. They think they can kind of get away with it, even if they don't mean it necessarily.
No.
With
I don't think you can get away with screaming the N-word and just think that's okay.
no. I'm saying they think that it's like, how do I say again? I don't know how to phrase this because I've seen it, but they seem to think that it's more accepted than they realize. If you know what I mean. Because I've heard some crazy shit old people say, and I'm like, do you guys like if you said that like a little bit louder, you'd get the shit beaten out of you. I'll try and find that petition, but where were we on this? We cannot afford complacency or apathy as a result in a further lives lost. This is not a distant issue to Penn State. Oh, I knew they were going to bring this up. In March 2019, black men in our own community, Osagi, was murdered by a police officer during a wellness check at his state college home. The officer who shot him remained on the local force anonymously, while the state college police department refused to comply with requests, release their use of force policies. Justice was never served for Osazio. I can't pronounce that name, but we stand with our university's black organizations who continue to fight for justice today. We are here to assist in whatever manner necessary. I think, I'll read the rest of it, and then I think because you had a fight with some people on Twitter over this, Phil, but the last bit is, as for the immediate future, we encourage people to join protests in a safe manner with masks and water. If you're unable to attend a protest, the College Democrats will be between a threat of organizations and bail funds you may donate to. Whoa, bail funds? What is this? Yo, that I gotta call them out for. They're encouraging people to donate to bail funds. Those things are bailing out Antifa. College Democrats are encouraging people to bail out Antifa. Hold your friends and families accountable concerning this issue, and do not forget that education has power to overcome ignorance. Our nation has a dark history of ruined white supremacy. Fucking ridiculous. We cannot allow our past and present to become our future. Oh god, that was terrible. So, I gotta find that list that they're talking about, because that's pretty crazy. That they put that in there, and they don't condemn any of the looting, they don't condemn any of the rioting. I'm gonna call them out on Twitter for that, because that's pretty bad. This is a terrible statement. But didn't you get into an argument with some people on Twitter, Phil, about that shooting, or was it something else?
Yep. Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, because I was saying that it wasn't really so much of a racial issue, because the guy had mental issues.
Exactly.
So it was more, and I always felt like when you're dealing with people with mental issues, I think cops could definitely use more training just overall.
Absolutely
in terms of handling people with mental health issues. But I didn't think it was a racist issue. I think it was just so it was a bad thing that happened because the guy has mental issues, and there was a reaction that kind of escalated the situation. And yeah, they didn't like me for it, but whatever.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the most one of my more popular tweets, and not in a good way, but whatever. But yeah, I just and no, I don't see them as a legitimate organization either. But it was the African Relations department or something like that, ARD, at Penn State. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And on top of that, I haven't heard anything about like some of the mistreatment that China has done to these like to Africans. So I'm like, during this whole COVID thing where they were kicking people out of their apartments and
Mm-hmm.
keeping people from, going to restaurants and eating and, going to hotels and, at least having a place to stay or something. Like, no, they completely during the whole COVID thing, they completely mistreated the Africans that were living in China. I didn't hear shit about that. Like, so I can't, there's no way I can fucking take them seriously. Like, some of the stuff that these Chinese restaurants were saying, like, if they did that shit here, like, it'd be panda fucking monium, right? So it's hard. I just can't take these people seriously ever again.
Yep. Totally agree. And it's, again, they see race when it's not a fucking factor all the time. And that's a perfect example. It was mental health that was the factor, mental illness. And look, I live with somebody that's autistic. If he did something and the cops like confront him, I'd be scared shitless because they don't understand him like I do. Because I live with him. I understand like when he's doing something that may look bad, but it's actually just some, some sort of like stemming thing from his autism. The cop's not going to see it that way, and they're going to panic. And I understand why, but you need more training on that somehow, some way. And I mean, this statement is just a fucking joke. I mean, oh my god. Yeah. I'm going to use the TPUSA Twitter one more time to fucking rip them. It'll be my last stand on that Twitter, because this is just disgraceful. They talk about other people being ignorant. This shit's ignorant. And totally, again, they don't condemn Antifa. They don't say anything about that. And that's the complacency, and that's what got home accountable for that. Call them out for that. Now they're saying they're going to, what was it about, like, directing people towards organizations that bail people out of jail. That's what the Biden campaign's doing. They're bailing out Antifa. Any final thoughts before we close?
No.
No, I think we pretty much nailed it.
Nailed it. Thank everybody for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. We had some new people in the chat this time. They were flipping out at us. This one guy, Tex Hop, said, this is all in caps, so he's shouting, "Not engineered, you clown. It's pure anger. Was 1968 engineered? Get a grip, for fuck's sake." And then...
What, 1968 was that engineered? What are you talking about? What was he talking about?
Going on back then, like, it's a lot different than today. There was serious civil rights issues going on. I mean, there's still issues today, but I think this is more of a cop issue than a civil rights issue at this point.
Exactly.
Look at how many people were fucking killed by police officers.
And then the second person, Kellyanndra A, said, "Laugh my ass off. Scott Adams is a joke." No, you are a joke. Random internet user. But that's it. Yeah, so we might do another one of these tomorrow night. I don't know, because I know Phil's got some he's prepping. We'll see how the action in the streets is going, and we'll do it whenever we feel like it, and it'll be a fun time then. So subscribe, like, share, so you can stay in touch with us and find out when the next stream's coming up. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you later.
Later, Gators.
See ya.
Wash your fucking hands. And we are ending.